that's been kicked in the nuts by fake news. Nobody knows what to believe.
I don't know what I said.
We need one maverick newsman to cut through all the noise and tell us what's really real.
I'm not that guy. Hello, and welcome back to episode 12 of Really Real with Richie Redding. I'm Richie Redding, and got a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about today. And first of all, I got to say hi to Bobby Tambora. What's up, dude?
What's going on, Richie? How are you, buddy?
I'm well, and I've got to say I'm surprised by the wooden ceiling that you have. The A-frame means attic, right?
Yeah, definitely the attic. Did you see me bash my head off of the ceiling 5 times trying to set up the podcast?
No, I was self obsessed at the time, but I really wish I had.
I'm gonna murder my family because of CTE someday, and it's all gonna be this ceiling's fault.
Yeah, well, I think it's nice that a lot of people think that incels live in basements, but you're proving
we're in the skies too.
Yeah, they're also ready to fall through the ceiling at any moment with one false step. So good on you, buddy. I just wish that people could see the. Can they see you on the stream or?
Not today. They could last.
The voice of God. Okay. Yeah. So it's always fun to talk about something you can't see, but we also at some point need to get your Zoom picture as a to be somewhat public facing. It's the most good boy Bobby I've ever seen. Like you look like an Italian kid at Christmas or something, or Easter.
It was spring graduation from college, a buddy's graduation. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It looks like you're at some kind of spring party, but you're hoping to get custody back. So you cleaned it up a little bit. But yeah, man, I want to thank everybody that has been listening and commenting on stuff. And I know I yelled at you guys for sending me private messages, but I have really appreciated the messages that I've been getting. And there will not be any more UFOs this week and UAPs, but this shit is not over. It is not over. You hear me? We're going to dig into it deeper in the next episode. But a lot of people have been asking me, and even on other podcasts, people would ask me what I think about the trains, because there's been so many trains that have derailed. It's been 6 of them since the one in East Palestine, and another one derailed in Ohio, and people think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's the exact opposite, that it's this time bomb that has been coming up, and we're finally just fucking seeing the fruits of this thing, that it's breaks from the Civil War, and it's these insane tracks. So hopefully we don't see more of it. But I have somebody I think I can get on here to talk a little bit more about it. But what I'm actually more interested in, we're not going to do it this episode, but how exciting is this, huh? Talking about what we're not going to talk about. Yeah, that's just good podcasting. But I want to look into the attacks on power substations. That is way more interesting, and definitely somebody's actually doing, taking positive actions towards disruption, as opposed to, an old ass train fell off the tracks. But Bobby, we've gone so hard at the wokies that I certainly don't want to be, labeled as or mislabeled as far right. I think there's plenty of fun to be had, and you don't hear the term just because it doesn't flow nearly as well as owning the libs, but sometimes you got to own the conservatives. And I found an article that, I don't know your grandfather, whoever you are that's listening out there, but I guarantee you this will make your grandfather's head fucking explode. If we could go to Birdwatch real quick there, Bobo. Got it up? The headline is, 2 suspected illegal immigrants killed a bald eagle for dinner. federal authorities don't seem to care. This is on Free Beacon, which is super right wing, but this is the actual article. 2 suspected illegal immigrants shot and killed a bald eagle with the intention of cooking it for dinner, and the town sheriff whose department arrested them says federal authorities, who could keep them behind bars, won't return his calls. The incident has left Stanton County, Nebraska residents disturbed and offended, County Sheriff Mike Unger told the Washington Free Beacon. And as of right now, the 2 suspects are allowed to roam the country freely. The 2 men are charged with misdemeanors, and Nebraska law dictates the pair can't be held in jail before their March 28th trial. The murder of the once endangered murder is pretty steep for any bird. Can we agree? No matter what your politics are, murder of a bird. The murder of the once endangered bald eagle, the national bird of the United States, occurred on February 28th. Responded to a report of a suspicious vehicle outside of the Wood Duck State Wildlife Management. Officers at the scene discovered 2 Honduran nationals carrying the dead bird. They spoke no English and carried no form of identification other than documents from the Honduran consulate. Killing a bald eagle is a violation of the 1940 Bald and Gold Eagle Protection Act, a federal law that carries a punishment of up to 1 year in prison. Yeah, okay, you get it. But yeah, so they can. The last time that somebody was actually convicted of killing a bald eagle was a 79-year-old Tuscarawas County, Ohio man who was guilty to killing a bald eagle while hunting groundhogs on his property, which is very hard to confuse the two. $10,000 fine, and also like a $10,000 restitution cost for the Fish and Wildlife Services. But, buddy, if you have a Fox News dad who is worried about the caravans, send him this. This is great. This is what the new OWN should be. Like, if Antifa, instead of fucking Antifa trying to burn down buildings, they should just be roasting bald eagles outside of courthouses, and heads would explode, dude. Am I wrong to find this somewhat entertaining as an isolated incident?
I think it's hilarious. I also think it's hilarious the bird gets $10,000 of restitution, but then black people are like, wait, we can't get a dime?
Oh, well, put a pin in that. I didn't have that flagged, but that's actually, that's the thing that's happening right now, is that San Francisco is considering giving $5 million to black people, to every black resident. Everyone. Because of like policies that, well, first of all, keep in mind that there was never slavery in San Francisco, ever. So they're not actually, it's not, it's not for, why can't I think of the word? Save me, Bobby. Reparations. It's not reparations for slavery. It's for policies that gentrified areas, that they had like a black like arts district, and they cleared it out with policies that got rid of the low rent buildings there and stuff like that. And now it's now like all luxury buildings, and this freaking council is actually thinking about giving $5 million per person away. And I mean, the insanity of it on its face is one thing, but like the precedent that it sets is unbelievable. And also, there was going to be some white people and some Latinos and some Jews and some whatever that live there. Do they get money too? And like, and then it also comes down to like how black is black. And then you get into this really weird shit where, like, okay, so if you're a quarter black, do you get 1.25 million as opposed to the full 5?
You get all these racist guys using the same Jim Crow laws to now try to get a part of the $5 million. No, one drop rule.
Yeah. You're way too familiar with Jim Crow rules, by the way. Uh, but yeah, dude, the bird thing really tickled me. Just the reaction of just how disgusted the Washington Free Beacon is with this whole thing. That like, I don't know. There's the symbolism of undocumented people with that literally have no documents and they're just carrying a dead bird is just like there's just something about it that tickles my fancy in a way that I can't explain. Like if the only thing better than that is like if they were like actively selling like fentanyl out of an ice cream truck while they were doing it, in terms of getting Republican heads to explode.
I hope you find out it was indigenous people, and they were like, no, we're taking back what's ours.
Yeah, dude, I'm just trying to make a nice visor, keep this sun out of my face.
They didn't have any identification, but they had one feather in their headband.
Yes. Well, speaking of native cultures and birds, we're doing a little bird watching today. All right, that's what I should have called this segment right from the top. We're bird watching. And do you remember the cassowary, Bobby?
No, I don't.
Does that name ring a bell? Cassowary is the world's deadliest bird. And these things are scary as shit. That I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, some rich dude who was like an exotic animal collector. He got one, and basically in the unboxing process, this thing, the way that they approach people is the most gangsta shit you've ever seen in your life. So they're somewhere between the size of like an emu and an ostrich, but they have 4-inch long razor sharp claws. This thing, can you scroll down that article that you have open? First of all, that's its face, but yeah, look at the claws here.
That's the missing link between birds and dinosaurs right there, buddy.
It literally is. It's a goddamn dinosaur, and that is a velociraptor claw. And they are not a little bit afraid of humans, like not even a little bit. And yeah, they have a tendency to storm beaches, which is exciting. But just go back up for a sec. Because I don't know how I wound up in this bird click hole, but go all the way back up. The article itself is about how cassowaries were actually farmed before chickens were. They found eggshells in New Guinea that shows that they were being domesticated for like thousands of years. So humans were actually raising these goddamn things for eggs and meat. And the eggs must have been enormous also, and fucked up with like, you've got like a big ass cassowary abortion inside of that thing. Like, dude, that's gotta be tough eating. That's gotta be tough eating. But yeah, the whole thing just, well, and then they also like, they were first encountered by white people in Australia. And there's all this lore about them as these killer birds that like, as if everything in Australia wasn't scary enough when they got there. Just wow. There's a didgeridoo in the background. Some guy's fucking throwing a stick that comes back to him, and you're getting stalked by birds. Like, fuck this place. That hit on Stalked by a Cassowary, and you'll see that how these things actually approach people. You got me?
Yep. 1 sec to pull it up.
And we're vamping.
Oh, that's not it.
No, that's not her. Guys, this is a professional operation that we're running here. It's obvious. We've tried to upgrade the camera, the sound. Perhaps, Bobby, one of these days we're going to get together and talk about this more than 1 minute before we start. Come on, baby.
Sorry, I was being stalked by.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. So pause it. So yeah, you're just having a nice day on the beach, fucking chilling in Australia, and you hear a little bit of a rustle, and then this happens. Do you have sound on that? Tell me this isn't the most gangsta shit. Get the fuck out of here. Watch the claws. Watch the claws.
Can you distract him?
So apparently you can't turn your back on him, but you also can't get a great... You see the one smart tourist that was just running for his life to try to avoid eye contact with this damn thing? Oh, you want some of this?
Not so smart now.
Yeah. There's a video from like 15 years ago that it backs some guy down all the way to the water, and they're yelling, they're like, just give me the water, and the guy goes, he doesn't mind the water. And the fucking thing, it like wades out with him into the water. And so the problem obviously is those claws, and it's not like, like kangaroos get up and they kick like really high, they kick towards your face. And the cassowary keeps it low, and they literally just eviscerate people. Like,
so you're basically just supposed to remain calm. Like that's how the technique. Because I feel like if I saw that come out of the woods, you gotta strike first. You gotta come out swinging and show you're the bigger predator.
I always carry a samurai sword to the beach when I'm in Australia. Just one clean. Imagine that motherfucker running around with its head off.
Oh my God. Just manslaughter.
just taking wild swipes at anything it sees or doesn't see. Just a dead zombie killer bird. Jesus.
7 infants in the process.
Yeah, it's not what you want. But yeah, rich assholes own these things right here in the United States, and they occasionally pay the price for it, which keeps it exciting. I think if you're going to own exotic animals, you have to put yourself in harm's way of them. Like that might be the only fair way to do it. That because supposedly there's more tigers in the United States in captivity than there are in India.
Wow.
Like that's a real thing. But where they're native to, like where they're actually from. We've bred so many tigers but it's always people that keep, I mean, it's either the two extremes of it are like the tiger in Harlem, which was one of the greatest videos ever, may he rest in peace, or it's like the tiger guy in, I think it was Jackson, New Jersey, same place that Six Flags is. Well, that was a lady, and she had like 35 tigers, and one of them got loose, and then they could only find like 32 of them. But she was never actually in there with them. I feel like if you're gonna have them, you got to get in there, mix it up, Mike Tyson style. Like Tyson actually lived with his tigers. They were in his bed and shit, farting in his face.
It's because he's the king of the jungle.
Fair enough.
Did you ever hear the Muskingum story, where the guy let all of his exotic animals out of his zoo, like after he killed himself? Like he killed himself right after. And then
that was in Ohio, right?
Yeah, all the rednecks had the best day ever because they were like, "It's open game. If you see an exotic animal, take it down." And they were like, "Oh, this is the best day ever."
Yeah, well, and the cops, like, there's a bunch of cops that didn't want to participate. That's why. Is because cops were like, I can't bring myself to do that, and then they just put out a good old boy APB. they
canceled
they
school.
Took care.
They were like, if you want to go hunt, it's a valid excuse to miss school. My cousin was a teacher in the area at the time, so like you could write a
No
note,
way.
Like, me and my boy are going to get these exotic animals, and you had a day off of school.
They didn't cancel school because you might get mauled by a tiger.
No,
they canceled it because this was your shot.
Let me rephrase. They didn't cancel it, but you could just skip school if you agreed to go hunting these animals. They were all in.
So the kids that went to school were just basically bait.
Exactly.
They were the bait pile at the red. All the liberal kids were the bait pile, and then you got and you've got the redneck kids spotting based on their classmates.
No fair. You baited with a transgender. That's not fair. It's not a real kill.
Hey, we're gonna get there. Oh, you're so compound. Come on. It was out of context. But while we're bird watching, I want to get to my. I would be remiss. People that have followed me for years know how very, very much I hate this one bird, the harpy eagle. You got it yet? Fuck this bird. This is literally the scariest thing in all of God's creation. Yeah, look at that thing. Can you zoom in on that guy? Tell me this doesn't look like a dude in a tree in a scary bird suit. And
That'll give you nightmares.
Dude, I mean, it's as close as it gets to the flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz. And those things did literally give me nightmares when I was a kid. But good God, that thing. And fun enough, I suppose, its diet consists of monkeys. That bird eats monkeys. It snatches howler monkeys out of trees. Yeah. If it can grab a monkey out of a tree, it can't rip your head off, but it can get a real good piece of that face, I'm thinking. But all right, moving right along. I told you we were going to get to it. You had to jump the gun on me, Bobby. Bobby was right, folks. I don't even think you know this yet, do you?
No.
Yeah, Bobby was right about our girl. What's her name? Kayla Lemieux. Yeah.
Lemieux, yeah.
Okay, so you called that you had heard that the reason that she was doing it was basically as a troll because she was in trouble for making like misogynist remarks, and then just start showing up with these big old sloppers on. Pull this article. Kayla Lemieux, Canadian teacher with size Z prosthetic breast, placed on paid leave. While not currently on active assignment, the teacher remains employed with the Halton District School Board, spokesperson Heather Francie said. So got the rebuke of the school board for having abdicated his responsibility by failing to put the interests and safety of students first. But here's where it gets fun down here. So, it's just been chaos in this school board ever since the dude started showing up with size Z tits. But, and then, so the saga gained international attention, blah, blah, blah. And then the Post revealed last month that once outside of school, Lemieux often ditches the breast wig and makeup and appears as a man, which sent shockwaves through the district. That is what sent shockwaves. And a neighbor says that she wears the whole breast makeup and glasses get up extremely infrequently. But then, so this is the best part of this, and this is why she's the really real one of the week. She says these are real. So she sat down with the Post and denied not wearing the prosthetic breast. Actually, no, I'm sorry. She insisted. Although she admitted she could not prove it and denied wearing prosthetic breasts at all, saying that they are not prosthetic. These are real, grabbing these huge jugs. And I don't want to bring anyone else into this. This is who I am. This is how I look. You've been talking to people in my building, but what they're telling you is harsh and untrue. I am always going out looking the way I am. And she told the Post that she began undergoing hormone replacement therapy in 2021 and is in transition. She is not a transgender person, but was born intersex. The teacher said her large breasts are caused by a condition called gynecomastia, but also admitted that she's never been officially diagnosed. Gynecomastia is a rare condition that involves developing extremely large breasts due to excessive breast tissue growth, according to the Cleveland Clinic. So this whole troll just got way fucking better. A has basically made herself unemployable by putting those big ass titties around fucking heavy machinery in the shop class that she teaches, and but also unfireable because of the reason, which is just brilliant. So like they don't have a way of getting rid of her now because it's going to be transphobic if they do it. But dude, the never back downness of this is buck ass wild. Dude, to say that is hormone replacement therapy. I've seen hormone tits before. They are weird. They are not big. But to say that you grew size Z titties because you got a couple estrogen shots, phenomenal. We applaud you, ma'am. We applaud you.
I like how she gangster grabbed her tits in the quote, where it was like, "These babies are real."
Boom! Look at these shits. Do you have it up right now? The original one that went viral with, it's really the nipples that make it such a phenomenal getup. Dude, she's absolutely going. They're either going to keep her on forever, or she's going to sue the board for discrimination. And Canada is pretty deep into all this shit at this point with their politics, and they're never. It's either going to be a $10 million payout, or this young lady just has to wear this. Yeah. So dude, that's how much does a teacher make in Canada? Let's look this up right now. From 46,000 to 86,000. So figure right in the middle. It's 66K. Is it better? Is it better to work every day, or to just wear big ass sloppers every time you go outside, or every time the cops show up to pull down 66K a year? Fuck, that's tough. What do you think?
The issue is,
once
you commit, you're committed. Like, you ever take the breasts off, you either have to fake breast cancer or you're a fraud and you're going to owe all that money back.
Yeah. She's in it for life, buddy. I mean, once you heard that she grabbed him and said, "These are real," that's when it's like, okay, you all are part of my mental illness now. Like, this goes way deeper than a little Halloween outfit. So I had an experience. So like, I still do group therapy stuff for my drinking. And for those of you who don't know, I've been sober for a long time. And in South Jersey, there was two ladies that were new to being a lady, and one of them had a walk like a fucking caveman. Like, I've never seen anybody put less effort into trying to appear feminine. I mean, just a balls first walk, right? Just like a lot of solid upper body work in there. And I heard that she was going to be speaking and like sharing her story. So I was like, dude, I'm in. Like I 100% want to hear this because I mean, I do think it would be a fascinating story, you know? And the very beginning of it was uh it was literally just going like, well, I had my first drink when I got my first period, and then I was just off to the races. So I was just like, I just felt the collective air just go out of the room. I mean, it was like, oh, we're we're doing this. Like we have to pretend this has always been you.
All right, ma'am. We're all on board.
Yeah. Well, but also it's like it's supposed to be a place of vulnerability and honesty. And like we're starting with your fucking period and as relates to your alcoholism, which we're all trying to overcome. Like come on. So yeah, but at that point, I was also like, all right, I want to hear about when you lost your virginity. I want to hear about the first time you squirted. I want to hear about when you breastfed. Like, just tell me the whole thing. I want to know how menopause was to you, childbirth. Like, give me all of it. But yeah, I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah. So, and this all just ties into that this past weekend. I don't know why I've been enjoying more and more of doing material that it's not trolling, but it's confrontational in New York City only. Of like, you know, talking about growing up around guns and shit like that. And like in New York, you say that and people think you were fucking breastfeeding with a machine gun in your hand. Meanwhile, like 45% of the country has the exact same experience. That's the fun thing. If it's like, if you grew up in New York, you grew up around guns too. You just didn't have one. And you didn't know at any moment who had one. But I'm not going to do the joke here, but I set up a joke, a very funny joke that I'm excited about trans women in sports. There's this one, it hit for, there's 90 people in the room, 89 of them it hit. And one girl, you know what she looks like, white girl, 24, just goes, not funny. Like, it might be like, it's almost like the new way to know that something's like a phenomenal joke. It's better than a round of applause if just one woke child just has to speak up against something. It's like, oh well, this is a keeper, and I'm going to say this every day for the next year. Like, thank you, miss. But it's, I think the thing that I love about it is that it's like the trans women in sports thing is like the purity test that nobody's going to be able to pass once they have kids and their daughters start playing sports. Right? Like, oh yeah, good luck getting a scholarship with that little hair on your forearms, you know?
You're gonna do gymnastics.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, I think that a very exciting Black Mirror extension of this whole thing is going to be what happens in 20 years. I mean, not even 20 years, in 5 years, but like really play the tape forward when China and Russia are going to be able to enter trans athletes into Olympic sports, right? Because it's not just because it's legal, but it's like once it's a proven winning strategy, holy shit, are we going to see some records go down. Because like, I mean, so I don't know if you know any of the crazy communist stories of like, you know, during the Cold War. Ever told you any of this stuff, Bobby?
I don't think we've talked about it, but I'm pretty up.
Okay. Yeah, well, so I mean, the East German, there's that PBS documentary about East German women swimming that that they crushed every world record at the time, but it was actually like their B teamers that were breaking all these world records, and it was because most of the A team died like in the 4 years leading up to the Olympics because they had them so full of testosterone and steroids that their hearts were just stopping in the pool. But they basically made some of the first intersex people because these chicks they were getting huge thick clits that look like penises, but they like also just they couldn't like keep it in their pants, and they had like a permanent clit boner that was like super painful. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. But that's not even another fun fact from my past life is that I was on the U.S. junior national team for rowing for a couple of years and like in a couple of world championships. So, but I was around the camp system when I was in college. Yeah, whatever. I was in the at one point for a few years, most of college before my senior year, I kind of got a case of the fuckets and just became a full blown stoner. But I was an Olympic hopeful for quite a while, so I was around the lore and the stories that you catch when you're in that circle is pretty unbelievable. And there was so two of the crazier things that I'd heard about, and these are like kind of unverifiable, but fun enough to pass around, and let's call them really real. But that the Chinese swimming team at one point had found that that orgasms made women stronger for short periods. So there was one Olympic cycle where their swimming sprinters, they literally had like employees of the state fuck these women to orgasm as part of their warm up, and then they just went out and raced. But the really disturbing one was that the East German Olympic rowing team, and I think I always just freestyle these things and forget that I could have easily verified this, but Olympic this is also a good time to point out how bad I am at typing. I think it was 72. It was like 68 or 72. 68. They did this research that found that women are the strongest they'll ever be it was like 4 or 5 months pregnant, and that they maintain that strength, and we're talking like VO2 max and anaerobic threshold and all these kind of in the weeds nerdy fitness things, but that they maintain that level of strength and fitness because of all the natural hormone boosts that they get from the progesterone, and there's actually testosterone and stuff too as part of the pregnancy hormone package, that they maintain it for like a month even after they abort. So they literally artificially inseminated the entire team of 8 women, and they aborted them like a month before the Olympics. And they went out they all had like little pouches. They had like a little bit of a pooch because they were still showing where they had the baby, and they smoked everybody, like straight up smoked everyone. But that was part of the price that they paid to do it. It's fucking wild. So with that in mind, remember that I called that we are going to see whole teams of trans athletes for the powerlifting and shit like that. Whole fucking teams.
take it a step further. Like, what's there to prevent you and I from identifying as trans men and getting on testosterone replacement therapy and then entering the Olympics?
I mean, I'm 44 and you're fat.
Yeah, but we could have a lot of testosterone. Curling's still an option.
Ooh. I don't know. I feel like curling's the one sport where testosterone might not do you that much good.
It's just us roid raging and losing every game on DQs.
Yeah. No, right. Just throwing skates at dudes, or at women. But no, that is an interesting thing though, is that like part of the whole debate is like whether there's the false debate of if there's an advantage to having gone through male puberty, and like sports like pool, right? Like it's probably not a sport, but like darts, pool, women are never in like the top 100 if there's dudes. So like for some reasons, the hand-eye coordination, the natural upper body strength and stability that comes with it, whatever it is, like that is a sport that should be level. But with curling, it would be the same thing. They would get smoked. And like, did I tell you this before, that when I was on the junior team, that as 16-year-olds, we raced the women's national team that like, I think they got like second or third in the Olympics, and we consistently split pieces with them. And they had been rowing their whole lives, and we had been rowing for 3 or 4 years. And they were very good. They were great. Like, they were a great boat, but there's just a crazy advantage of having gone through male puberty, right? Like
that gets played
the best
time, like the women's soccer.
Yeah. But like, I mean, like the best way to look at it is like when you watch a kid's game, if you watch like, 7th or 8th graders play soccer, and half the kids are going through puberty and the other half aren't, guess who I'm betting on? Who's out there fucking smashing everybody. But this kind of dovetails perfectly into this, that it's like, it is wild that it's a debate that there's an advantage to having testosterone. So this article was national news today of serious girl power. You got that?
Yep, it's
Yes. Can you count? Can you count how many that was?
It was JV and varsity.
Yeah. That's at least 16 girls lined up on the back of that bus, right? All completely upright, I might add. Just horrible technique. Go to the next video. Go to the next one that we got queued up here. Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh.
What's the video are we looking for?
No, boy power.
Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Exterior.
God damn it, Bobby.
Any plugs or promotions you want to throw in quick?
No. Actually, yeah. Come out this weekend. I'm working at the Comedy Cellar a lot for the next week. We talked about it last week. It's a big deal for me that I just got in there. If you want to see a late show, I'm not in the strength of the lineup yet, but I want a bunch of the late shows Friday and Sunday. It's Friday, Sunday, Monday, every day but Tuesday the next week, and also Saturday I'm going to be hosting at the Stand. Those are always super fun. Weekend after that, I'll be at Gotham, and that's one of my favorite places to do stand-up. So come check out a show, you dummies. Okay.
The only question here is,
so much better if you could just watch that video,
with all that power.
Bobby. 16 girls, or
suited for this 6'3", 375 pounds.
He's a powerhouse, Todd. I have no doubt.
Or that dude.
And the speed and the pumping of those legs. The size of those calves, they look like balloons.
That is just pure experience. Remember, the mark to beat,
Dude,
50.94 seconds put up by Austria's Martin Waldauer.
It made national news that 16 girls moved one bus, and these guys are racing buses.
There's less cheering for him.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, this is kind of fits perfectly in. I was going to start a clock so I could be more professional and not ask you where we are, but
45.
Here we are. Oh, all right. I'm going to let you choose your own adventure here, Bobby. Do we want to talk about close encounters with pedophiles, or do we want to talk about clones and Jizz Golems, which also ties into Epstein?
Oh, man. That's a real
Let's put
choice here. Let's go with pedophiles.
I was actually, you chose wrong.
I could see that's where you were going. I just did that on purpose.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we even get into this thing? So there is an article about go to men should ejaculate 21 times a month. This is the big news in all of mandom this month. Or this week, I guess.
Oh, it's up there. I apologize.
Yeah, from the Daily Mail. Abstaining from masturbation raises risk of anxiety, depression, erectile dysfunction, study warns. And the NoFap claims to boost confidence, focus, and cure erectile dysfunction could be completely wrong, and it might have the opposite effect. And that the idea... So scientists had before said that ejaculating once a week is ideal. But this Harvard study found that men who ejaculate at least 21 times a month slash their risk of prostate cancer by a third. By 1/3, Robert.
I know you can never get to 0, but I got to be pretty darn close then.
Yeah, it does make you wonder if you go 42 times a month, if you reduce it by 2/3.
Yeah, I don't mind having a light month.
Yeah. But I also wonder if, I feel like it has to be evenly spread out, you know? Like, I feel like if it's like the 27th of the month and you're still like back by 18, if you just crank them all out in the last 3 days. Like, yeah. Right. It's like, right. It's a buzzer beater, dude. But like, if you get it's like if you average 1 glass of wine a night, it's good for you. Or if you have 14 glasses every 2 weeks, right? But yeah, this reminded me of people always get upset at homeless guys for jacking off. You know, what about their prostate cancer risk? You know, are these guys just supposed to? They already have poor health care. Now they're also supposed to just get prostate cancer? That's not very nice. I was friends with a comic who was homeless for a while, and he said the worst part of being homeless, and he was like, he was sitting on the street homeless. He was beyond the point of like couch surfing. If you just don't pay rent, if you're crashing, you know you're technically homeless, but no, we're talking pavement homeless. But he said that was it wasn't being hungry. It was fucking sitting on the street with the morning boner and being like, where the fuck am I supposed to get rid of this thing? And like, it really is like the biggest complaint. It's either that homeless dudes it's the big three is shooting up, jerking off, or taking a shit somewhere, right? And I feel like the only one that's really solvable is jacking off. Work with me here. I don't know if have you been to Amsterdam?
I have
They
not.
make it okay. Well, they make it really difficult to get arrested there because they take away things like public urination because there's just urinals in the middle of the street. Right? Like it's like it's a column of them, and 4 guys can go into them at once. Your back is turned, you pee, you don't get it on the street. It's brilliant. Is there some kind of Jack Shack equivalent that the city could put out? Look, if San Francisco is spending $5 million per person that has any ancestry that proves that they were in San Francisco since the 1940s and are black, I think we can get some kind of masturbation hut cooking here. Like, yeah, go ahead.
They gave them all hotel rooms at the height of the pandemic. You're telling me they couldn't just have one at the Holiday Inn that, okay, you go, you got 20 minutes, you're in, you're out, no problem.
Yeah, well, the problem with those hotel rooms was that they were setting them on fire and throwing feces everywhere. I'm thinking, we got to have, there's got to be some kind of super polymer that you can have that'll just wipe down, hose down real easy. This is doable. This is doable. The answer is out there. That is the problem though, is that you're going to have these guys tying off and getting high. No, dude. This works. What if we can solve all 3 here? Just a PVC type situation, just some heavy duty irrigation and a timer on that fucker that you got 20 minutes. You can nod out and wake up in that time. You can rub one out and you can really put down a mean doo-doo. I solved it. Fucking solved it. All right. Jack Shacks for the homeless. You can poop in them. You can do it all. But yeah, I had an encounter when I first came back that I had parked in I parked on East 4th, and it was one of those situations where I had to like push a pile of garbage to get out. It was like, yeah, New York, we're back, baby. There was a homeless dude was sitting on a stoop, but he wasn't like it wasn't immediately obvious that he was homeless, and I thought he was like playing with something, and then it turned out he was like juggling the biggest dick in the world. Like, dude, it wasn't. He wasn't handing it off. He was just like TikToking it from side to side. It was the world's scariest grandfather cock, and he's sitting there. He's going mullet, fucking mullet. It's like, oh my god, lock the car. That really made me feel for women more than I ever had in my life. That like I kind of really got how menacing a penis is, right? That like sure, there's definitely cases where women assault guys, but there's just something about that big old hammer coming at you, like. Yeah, where the threat of winding up in the warm embrace of a vagina just doesn't seem nearly as terrible as this guy's fucking hammer of a cock. Fucking mullet. I was also really impressed that this homeless guy even knew what a mullet was. Like, he was kind of fashion forward, if you think about it. But, yeah, so I don't know if I believe you know this, Bobby, that Lisa and I are in the process. We're doing IVF stuff, and so my newest favorite stage bit by far is telling the story of jerking off at the doctor's office, which I have now had to do twice now under their aegis, but they call it so like the egg retrieval thing is a whole to do. We found out that they very much frown upon calling it harvesting. That she was like, so when are you harvesting my eggs? And they're like, no, we don't say that. We don't say that. But it does sound fucking ghoulish if you think about it, that like a reaper is coming to harvest your eggs. But yeah, dude, the sperm donation thing is so wild. And I want to put it out there that, the economy's tough. If you're part of this gig economy, you could be selling your sperm. You could be. Bobby, pull that up if you would. You could. The first thing I saw said that it's up to $1,500 for sperm. If you are Hitler's dream, and also like a PhD or above, you can get that much. It's like if you're like over 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes, like there's all these things, and it's so creepy how much eugenics come into this shit. that I mean, it's literally like, pick your breed. And there's a thing that went viral during the pandemic. There was these dudes that were going around, and it was guys that fit that bill, and they were getting like $1,500 a month, or $1,500 a shot. And it was these two dudes that teamed up, and they started going direct to all these women that wanted their sperm, and they were charging like 15 grand for live cover. That live cover is the breeding term for when, like, if a horse, if you want some championship sperm, they'll never take it from out of the test tube. They have to see the champion horse come and mount the mare, or else it's no deal. So, dude, these guys during the pandemic, they were going to Australia, they were going to Europe, Scandinavia, they went all over the fucking place, actually laying pipe for 15 grand a shot. But they were staying with these women. They were getting to, like, they were making sure it's synced up with their egg drops and all this shit. And the thing that's amazing about it is that it saved the women like tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars, because it's such a crazy fucking hustle that we're going through this shit right now. So, putting a pin in that for a second, that go to the sell. You got the sell your sperm thing up.
Yeah, it was up that time. I'll pull it right back.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
So, yeah. So really, like, the only thing that prohibits you from doing it is actively having a sexually transmitted disease, sperm count or no sperm count, or recent travel history. Right? But it's like, basically, if you're anywhere that has Zika, then they're not going to let you donate sperm. But otherwise, they're just buying anybody's jizz whatsoever. Jizz is so cheap to come by, right? But then, it didn't actually tag Bobby, but can you sell your eggs, or like how much to sell?
Like the picture, that's what you want to show?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I looked up how much is it to sell eggs, and the first thing that comes up is that you cannot. Egg donors do not sell their eggs, as it is illegal for them to do so in the state of New York. And then directly under that is, how much do you get for donating eggs in New York? $8,000 to $10,000. So it's such an absurd wordplay. Like, no, you can never ever sell eggs. That sounds ghoulish, miss. We would never. We'll give you 10 grand for them, though. Give you 10 G's straight up.
It's good to see the healthcare system using the weed loophole. Where no, I'm paying $50 for that sticker. They're just giving me the ounce of weed.
Is that how they do it?
In areas like Washington, D.C., where it's decriminalized but not legal yet, yeah,
Uh-huh.
you can't sell it. So it's like, oh, either you donate money and then they give you it as a gift, or you buy a sticker for whatever the price is.
Yeah. Well, that was always fun. Also, like back in Philly in the day, like when you would go into a head shop, it was like, "Can I see that 3-foot tobacco master?" And like if he's it was like, "Oh, can I see that bong?" They're like, "Sorry, bro, you got to leave." Like, why?
You used
Like,
the B word, man.
Yeah, it's a water pipe. So yeah, I guess that I wonder if it's the same thing. If a chick walks up, she's like, "Hi, I'd like to sell some eggs." Sorry, miss, you have to leave. Come back in and say you want to donate them. Right? Like, it's just a revolving door that she comes back in. But yeah, dude, so at a show that I did in South Jersey a couple weeks ago, there was a very pregnant woman who was having a baby. So she said she was a surrogate. She was having a baby for a gay couple, and she was making $60,000 to do it. Getting a surrogate starts at 200 grand. Yeah. So, dude, there's definitely a whole bunch of hustle to be made with, like, you know, basically doing what these dudes did during the pandemic, that when they just had off time, they just went around laying pipe left and right. If you've got a good womb out there and you can prove that you were not drinking and drugging, go get your money, ladies. You can double up 120 grand cash for having that baby. Oh, I don't know why I'm so excited about that, but and I promise you this was all going to tie in at some point. But yeah, go to so this is one of the wildest reproductive rights stories out there. Oh wait, no. Okay, so start with the miracle baby opens up debate. So, you know, the laws around this stuff are changing all the time, and there's technology. The current limit is 55 years is how long that sperm can be frozen, and this year or this past week, a baby was born from sperm that was frozen in 1996, and it's the oldest. It's the longest or the oldest sperm ever, which is crazy to think about. That it's the longest time between ejaculation and pregnancy that's ever occurred. Right? It's the oldest load that has ever actually worked, but because it worked, they're now like reviewing the rules around it. And it's currently 55 years, and it's one of these numbers that just got arrived to because it was like, all right, well, this is like longer than anybody would ever need. And now they might open it up to like centuries. Right. But like the crazy ethical stuff behind that could be a megalomaniac could, you know, a billionaire could freeze his own sperm and through an attorney basically constantly be paying surrogates throughout the next 100 years to be fucking having his seed. And it's so disturbing, dude. Like what is stopping somebody? Like there's these dudes that just want to have all the babies, right? So like what is stopping somebody from doing that? Just start freezing every nut that comes out of your weird old billionaire balls and pay somebody 100 grand to have your baby. It's wild. It's so, I mean, dude, it's Black Mirror. It is so fucking Black Mirror. And and that ties in very nicely with this one. This is what I was saying is one of the weirdest stories I've ever encountered. That the parents of, do you have that article up?
Yep.
Yeah. Parents of dead West Point cadet retrieve his sperm. So the parents of a 21-year-old West Point cadet fatally injured in a skiing accident raced the clock to get a judge's permission to retrieve his sperm for the possibility of preserving some piece of our child that might live on. So basically they sued to be able to retrieve semen from him, from his corpse. And they froze that, and they're now in the market for a surrogate that can make a Jizz Golem out of their dead son. Fucking insane, dude. Yeah. Latinos get a lot of razzing for how important the sun is to them, but let's not sleep on these Asians. Let us not sleep on the Asians. It'll be impossible to carry on our family's lineage, and our family name will die without doing it. Like, all right, man. Well, maybe that's what's in the works. But yeah, just at the thought of being the kid that, like, you're going to hear that story of how you were made. I mean, it's a villain,
dead regardless, because no girl's gonna have sex with the ghost baby.
Right. Well, but also that means they're also definitely going to do genetic engineering to make sure that it's a son, right? But they get a daughter, and they're like, it's a redo. It's like nothing's more fun than a Chinese gender reveal party, because you get to find out if they're going to keep it or not.
They're going to keep it or be really good in the Olympics in 4 months.
Right. But so, dude, that ties into Hope Frozen, which is a documentary that's on Netflix that I just finished it. It's an absolute bummer, but there's a Thai doctor that claims that he has figured out the science of, they don't call it cryogenically, of cryonically freezing people so that you can open them back up.
Brought us together.
Sorry about that. They can bring them back, right, in a way that you can bring them back to life. And this family, so they have this little 2-year-old girl, right, this Thai family. They have a 2-year-old girl that has some kind of like horrible cancer. So instead of letting her die, they freeze her. They freeze her in liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees. And their son is becoming a research doctor. And they're basically putting the pressure of figuring out how to cure this cancer on their son. So that, and he has the cancer cells, he has her cancer cells, and a shitload of them frozen, and he's trying to cure that cancer so that they could unfreeze her, and that she'll, and then they'll be able to cure it. But the most real possibility of it is that in their lifetimes, it never gets cured, right? So what if in 75 to 100 years, it gets cured, and they put away the money for all the testing and all the hospital shit, and they just make an orphan that has never met anybody in their family. Everybody they ever knew is dead. And you're just going to have the most expensive castaway kid ever. It's wild.
There's also the whole thing of bringing somebody back to life once they've been frozen. That's the step everybody skips. Like, not only do you need a miraculous breakthrough in the world of cancer research, you also need one in that. Like, Disney's frozen, Ted Williams' head is frozen, and it's like,
right. I mean, they claim that John Wayne is frozen too, right? But part of it is like they have now successfully frozen people's, or not people's. They've frozen animals' brains, and then transplanted it into. There was a rabbit that they showed that they took this rabbit's brain out, froze it, put it into another rabbit, and it just went around and did rabbit shit. But dude, yeah, it's fucking dark. If you want to be real weirded out, check out that documentary. What is it again? Yeah, Hope Frozen. And they go and visit it. They're like it's just a big ass metal container, and the whole family's going and crying and like holding up a onesie and shit like that, because they know where in this vat of liquid nitrogen their kid is. They're stacked 5 high. But they go and visit their kid on the bottom, and it's real fucked up. But as promised, it all ties together with our boy Jeffrey. So a less, I actually think, I feel like it might be, no, it's not as salacious, but it's more disturbing part of all the stuff he was doing and why he was so involved in all these tech circles, and kind of a regular around MIT, which is also a CIA hotbed, was that he had Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, like close to Santa Fe, and it was a 33,000 square foot property. And his stated goal there, which he had told some of the girls that were the victims that came forward, was that he wanted to have up to 20 young women at a time pregnant. And the reason that he wanted to do it was for exactly the reasons that I was saying, or like the possibilities of what could happen with the 100-year-old sperm stuff, was that he wanted to have enough kids so that it would basically populate the earth with his DNA going forward, which is actually something that Genghis Khan did, right? There's still it's some crazy percentage of Asians and Eurasians actually have Genghis Khan's DNA, because, well, let's just say he didn't get too many surrogates, if you know what I mean. But
what was that hands-on delivery were you explaining?
Yes, very much so. So this whole thing, and maybe we'll do a deeper dive on it one of these days, but it was all based on the ideas of the repository for germinal choice. And it was basically a sperm bank that was to be stocked with the sperm of Nobel laureates who wanted to strengthen the human gene pool. And there was only one Nobel Prize winner that actually acknowledged contributing to it. And the repository was discontinued in 1999. But the ideas of it still go on. And it's actually way closer to tech bros than you think it is. That there's this, and there's billionaires that are backing this shit. Definitely remind me to dive deeper into this of this movement towards trying to have 20 kids so that the right kind of people, which is absolutely the most important part of this, to put on the old armchair eugenicist hat again, it's all to make sure that the right kind of people are repopulating the earth, and that their DNA is getting ahead. And one might look to the count of how many fucking kids Elon Musk has and think, I wonder if that guy was into the repository for germinal choice, because he's had a whole bunch of kids, and it doesn't seem like a lot of them were live cover necessarily. So a little genetic editing going on there. But folks, I think that's episode 3. I'm Richie Redding, and that's really real. Thank you so much. Please keep sharing it, talking about it, commenting, coming out to live shows. super duper from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate you guys for listening to me ramble on, and I'm going to get better at this as we go. Bobby's going to get better, or he's fired. No, Bobby, thank you so much, man. And it's awesome that you said yes to this before we even knew what it was going to be, and you've helped me out with it so much. So really, really, I'm grateful. And I don't know. I'm having fun doing this. So if you guys are having fun, please don't be a stranger. Let me know. See ya.
A world that's been kicked in the nuts by fake news. Nobody knows what to believe.
I don't know what I said.
We need one maverick newsman to cut through all the noise and tell us what's really real.
I'm not that